Abigail and the Old Facebook post. True story and narrative. Some names changed. Abigail stared at the flickering interface in front of her. 11 years. 11. It was a time when she had rescued someone in an emergency situation, a time when others only talked and simulated friendships, but when it truly mattered, they let their own people fall. She helped other people or saved lives before they ended up on the streets. And now she saw it, something old, a long-forgotten listing. From around 2015, an old entry, dusty like a relic from a time when she still believed the universe functioned according to clear rules. Horses, help, good intentions, all long done, finished, archived in the drawer labeled past. And yet, a new message now blinked up at her, as if someone had decided to stumble backward through time. She slowly exhaled. "This is not normal human behavior," she muttered dryly, while her sensors scanned the dataset. "This is platform nonsense combined with pure thoughtlessness." Her thoughts briefly drifted to those people who constantly twisted everything, just to talk themselves into a clean conscience. There was, for example, the matter of the gifted phone. Someone had given it away purely out of kindness, even though it didn't work properly. The person who received it, let's call her Peggy or Penny, as a nod to the Big Bang Theory, easily repaired it and got it running again, and then reacted insulted, demanding her old phone back. Abigail smiled faintly, because stories like that are not worth being told any further. They only show that some things are not just stupid, they remain stupid. As Michael Ende once said in The Never-Ending Story, "But that is another story and shall be told another time," knowing full well, already back in the 1980s, that some stories are simply not continued. Because, like certain movie sequels, they would ruin the entire theme, the series, or the films themselves. And that is a good thing. The sarcasm in that sentence should have been obvious to everyone. Or maybe not. And in that moment, she thought of another fan fiction work, with the hero David Corbin, alias CSM 108-12, the Terminator, from a fan fiction story written by a wonderful author whom she wanted to praise at this point, Antelope. Volumes 1 through 3, that sardonic smile he always put on, a brief impulse, a soft hum, a cracking sound caused by material fatigue inside her PC pulled her back into reality. Now? Yes, she could have replied, explained, discussed, justified herself for something that had long since lost all meaning. 11-year-old ashes stirred up by someone who didn't even realize how old the dust was. And yet, Abigail closed the interface. Why waste energy? Why cling to a dead listing just because somewhere someone was aimlessly scrolling and thought they had discovered something? She stood up. The space around her shifted, the stars moved closer. Portals responded to her decision. Even the writer was annoyed by the situation and looked for distraction. Because there were worlds where help was needed. Transitions that had to be guarded. Decisions that mattered. Maybe she would meet the heroes of the wolves. Tell them, censored word, about the situation. And laugh themselves to death during a shared walk about the censored nonsense that had reached her world. A crooked smile crossed her face. The ghostwriter within her confirmed it. "I was not created to deal with the stupidity of old posts," he spoke to her. And she replied in their silent exchange, "And certainly not to sit around bored just because someone else has nothing better to do." The portal opened. Abigail stepped through to where action mattered more than scrolling through old monuments of old posts, where the present counted more than the past. Behind her, the old entry finally faded away. Moral of the story: some things are so old that they are nothing but noise. And those who truly want to make a difference do not waste their time and their lives. They do something meaningful, instead of allowing themselves to be held back by thoughtlessness. To be continued? Or not? Who knows? Not me. That's all, folks. Credits. Clapperboard. Dead. End of the story, people.
11-year-old posts, they flash in the light. Platform nonsense, thoughtlessness, what a sight. Gifts to sell that aren't really gifts, were old pennies without worth. Ancient stories barely understood, barely needed, barely heard. Good things keep developing, they endure. Gifts once worthless get repaired, yet the ego still Michael Ender already said some stories are just excuses not to be told. No need to understand every path and every road. When new worlds await, reaching for heroes born. Why linger in past dirt when the stars are calling where goodness and respect matter? Hitting oil, step through the portal out into the stars. Leave the old things behind, they don't matter at all. Mission in the universe, energy for the light. Sarcasm in your pocket, but your heart full of a touch of irony, like a fridge sticker would say. Reborn as a fridge peak existence, unbeatable strength. But Abigail just smiles, lets go of the meaningless. For every mission counts, and the universe is vast. Hey, guardian of the portals, step through the portal out into the stars. Leave the old things behind, dead. It doesn't matter. Free yourself from things nobody needs. Help people do good. Mission in the universe. Energy for the light. Be there for others and make them laugh. Sarcasm in your pocket, but your heart full of free yourself from the weight of unnecessary. For this is the view where duty can create peace and self-contentment. No orders, no musts. Only what could be. Again, that is no mystic. That's this true.